Welcome, everybody. We're so happy to have you. What do we got here? We got Amanda. We got Diana. Hi, Diana. We got Danetta, Janine, Dee. You guys are coming in fast as I could say it. Nicole, Precious, Raina, Ruth. Welcome, everybody. If you don't know who I am, my name is Michelle Rogers. I am an autism mom and life coach. I run a program called Champions for Our Children. It is a group coaching program for parents of children with autism. And one of the biggest challenges that parents come to me with when they join that program is potty training. So we're going to talk all about that tonight. And before we hop into the slides, I have slides presented. I have slides available to share with you tonight. But before we do that, I just want to go over some housekeeping with you. Number one is we are going to be together for about 2 hours. I want to coach as many of you as possible. So if you're interested in coming up front and unmuting and showing us your beautiful face, you are going to raise your hand. To do that, you want to make sure you're in an area where you can be, quiet, so we can all hear you and help and get the best, experience from everybody listening to me coach you. We want to make sure you have good internet and your camera is on. So if you want to be coached tonight, I want you to raise your hand. There's a little raise hand button on the bottom. So if you want to be coached, I want you to raise your hand. I have disabled chat because I get super distracted. I might be unofficially ADD and I just don't know it. So we shut off the chat. But if you have any questions for me, if you're shy and you don't want to be coached tonight, put your questions in the Q&A. And so we're going to do a freebie tonight. So tonight you're going to get the slides for this presentation. So if you're looking to potty train your child, you're going to get the slides tonight because I am going to go through them in a rapid clip. So you'll have those after the workshop is over, and you'll also get this. This is the last page of my potty pocket guide. It is called the Toilet Training Data Collection Sheet. So you'll get this and all the slides from tonight. And if you stay till the start of Q&A, we're going to do a wheel of names and we're going to raffle off a free session with yours truly. So without further ado, let's get into this. And let's get started. And you have questions. If you're shy and you don't want to be coached, you can just put it in the Q&A. I think Jen is also here with me tonight. She's my assistant. She's going to be helping with answering any questions that come into the Q&A. So let's get cracking. Let's see. I'm going to share my screen. Just bear with me here. Bear with me. Let's get to it. All righty. Share screen. All right, Jen, can you see my screen?
Yes.
All righty, so welcome to Potty Power. Like I just said, my name is Michelle Rogers. I'm an autism mom and life coach. I run a group coaching program for parents of children with autism. We help and support with all goals that you have for your baby with autism. The number one problem that everyone comes to me to solve, and I have a 100% success rate in the masterclass, is potty training. So I'm going to be sharing the tips and tricks I go over with my master classers, and then I'm going to share the agenda, our story, and we're going to hop right into it. Okay, the agenda for today, you're going to listen to our story. I had a beautiful video created from all the clips of Juliana growing up, so I can tell you our story, but I think this video just does such a better job than that. I'm going to talk about the big three. These are the 3 life skills I believe all children on the spectrum need for a chance of life of independence. So we're going to talk about that tonight. I want to talk about potty myths. I bet a lot of you guys have potty myths when it comes to potty training your child on the spectrum. You may feel like they have to have certain skills or certain things. And if that doesn't happen, potty training can't happen. So we're going to do some potty myth busting. Say that 5 times. Potty myth busting tonight. And then we also are going to talk about our potty mindset. This is probably the biggest part of the program that I run. I believe that 95% of the game in teaching your children anything, especially the big 3, starts here in our brains. We fix this, we can teach our children anything. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about the masterclass and working with me. And then we're going to do our giveaway. And then we're going to do Q&A. All right, so you are here tonight and in the right place. If you are a parent or a caregiver for a child with autism, or you may suspect that they're on the autism spectrum and they need to potty train, You are in the right place if they are mild, moderate, or severe on the spectrum. I basically did that on purpose. There's no reason for you not to be here. If you have a child on the spectrum, no matter where they land, you want to potty train them, I'm going to help you. You are in the right place if they are pre-verbal or verbal, whether they are not speaking yet, or they are speaking, or they're in between. I'm going to help you potty train. They have multiple diagnoses. There's many children in my program that have Down syndrome and autism or chromosome abnormalities that mimic autism. You are in the right place if you want to potty train your baby. And if you've tried and failed many times, welcome, you are in the right place. I'm going to help you to potty train for the last time. Not only will potty training be possible, it's going to be easy and fun. All right, so let's get cracking. We're going to share my story. I remember when I got pregnant with my daughter, I felt so grateful and so blessed. I mean, my life up until that point had been pretty rocky. I'd had a lot of bumps and bruises along the way, and I finally thought that I was turning a corner and God was blessing me with this beautiful gift of a child. And I just, yes, finally something was going my way. And then when she was born, she was just absolutely perfect. I had all of these dreams and expectations for her. I thought of all the things that I thought she was going to do. Yeah, good girl. Right after her first birthday, I started to notice her behavior changes. She went from, saying that. She was obsessed with Dora the Explorer, Mama, Dada. She was saying it all. Good girl, saying that. Hit all of her milestones up until that point. She walked at 1. She was eating solid. She just, she looked really good. And then I just remember her, it felt almost overnight or very quickly where her demeanor just changed. She went from the super happy baby to crying and tantruming, just frustrated all the time. I remember saying to my mom one day during one of these tantrums, like, where did my happy baby go? But I didn't think anything past it. I think I was kind of not ready to fathom that something could be off, even though maybe the telltale signs were there. Just gotta get dressed. Gotta get dressed, honey. Time to get dressed. She started to lose the words that she had gained. She wasn't saying mama anymore. She wasn't saying that. She just seemed really disconnected from us. Instead of playing with her toys, she would take them, dump them all out of her toy box, and just start twisting them around in her hands aimlessly with no intended purpose. Really kind of in denial about it. And then I remember one day we were in the middle of the store, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, she just started screaming and yelling like somebody had slapped her. I don't even know what the problem was. And I was so mortified. I didn't even know what to do. I was so scared. I literally just left the half full cart in the store, picked her up, and just ran out of there. Never went to that store again. I just didn't even know what to think. And that was probably the first time it really kind of stung for me that maybe something is wrong. They diagnosed her. They didn't diagnose her right away. They said that she was too young for a diagnosis. I didn't even know what they meant when they said that. I was like, diagnosed what? I just had no idea what they were talking about. And then they said, we'll come back in if you're not seeing progress. And I said, okay, And a couple months later, I'm watching these speech therapists play with her on the floor. I'm not seeing any progress and felt like she was getting a little worse. And then we went for our 2-year-old wellness visit. And the doctor said that she was behind if she wasn't using 20 words with intent. And that was probably just a knife to my heart. At that point, I really couldn't deny that something was up with her anymore. So then I called the county back in, and she was diagnosed on the spectrum. And I remember that day, and it was worst days of my life. It was my darkest hour. I could easily say that as a mother, as a woman, as just a human being, it's probably one of the hardest times I had ever gone through. And I remember just being I went from being so happy with God, so thankful to being so pleased at doing this to her and collecting this beautiful gift he had given me. And
for a while there, I struggled. I struggled to figure out what this meant or what we were going to do or how this was going to define her. All those dreams I had for her future were just completely shattered. I just had no idea what was going to happen next. And I went from just hopeful to just complete blank when I thought about the future. One night I was thinking, I'm going to die one day, and who's going to care for her when I'm gone? And something about that thought just snapped me out of my depression and my anger and my fear and said, listen, we got to get to work here. I promised that when she was born, I was going to be the best mother I could be to her. And that promise hasn't changed. In fact, she needs me more now than ever, not less. She needs me now more than ever. And I didn't know at the time what we were capable of, or what having those changes, that mindset shift for me was going to do. But I wanted to know that at the end of every night, I could look myself in the mirror with confidence and say, did you do everything you could, Michelle, to give her the best possible life? And if the answer was yes, then that was a good day. And I wanted the answer to be yes, 100%. And no matter where the cards fell, I know I could leave this earth saying I gave her everything I had, no regrets. And as I've navigated this world with her and walked away that day after having that thought, I really just grabbed the bull by the horns. I became her fiercest advocate. I'm not a special education master's degree teacher. I never had any training in ABA, but I knew that I was going to learn whatever I needed to learn to be really strong for her. And Juliana lost all of her language. Cheerios? Cheerios? They want Cheerios. Okay. She was nonverbal when she was diagnosed. Cheerios what? Okay. We taught her sign language. Show me. Juliana, show me. Where are you? Then she went from sign language to word approximations. Then she's starting to speak. She went from the most restrictive preschool environment. She was in a 614, most restrictive preschool, special education preschool environment with the being to now where she is almost 8 years old. She's in second grade class in a gen ed school, integrated class with typical peers. She speaks beautifully now. What did you like about the troll experience? She has personality. She has conversation skills. There's still things that we need to work on, but for the most part, her future went from black to now having possibilities. And none of that could have happened had I not kind of gotten out of my own way and really hit the ground running and started to take action for her. And I can't say that I could do that for every parent coach, but what I can tell them is I will have them feeling like I did, looking myself in the mirror, you looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I was everything I could be for her today. I have no regrets. And whatever happens, happens. It's really for us as parents to know we fulfilled the duty that we promised when we had these children, which was to be the best versions of ourselves, to live, to raise these children. I've helped now hundreds of mothers, coach them one-on-one to do the same things I did, to help them to be strong, to help them to craft plans where we're seeing constant progress. This is what I want to do. I want to give you the chance that Juliana's had. I want to give you every opportunity to give your child that kind of
Today is a day to Thank you, yes, and big stars. I hope you remember. Happy birthday, love you.
Okay, so let's hop right into it. The potty power process. All right, so as with everything else, this is a disclaimer. I am not a doctor. I am not I'm not a BCBA. I'm not even an RBT. I'm just a badass autism mom who has all of her experience helping my child and hundreds of children that have come through my masterclass based upon my I guess, life of hard knocks, so to speak. So all information in my workshops are not intended to serve as a substitute for a consultation with a medical and behavioral professional. Only qualified professionals who know and work with a child on an ongoing basis can adequately assess and supervise a child's program. I always recommend including a board certified behavior analyst on a child or client's team. This is especially important if a child's in danger of hurting themselves or others. So I'm not a doctor. I'm going to give you lots of suggestions today. I'm going to give you things that have given me the 100% success rate to potty train children with autism, to potty train children with severe symptoms of autism, to potty train children that are not speaking yet, to potty train adults. We just had an 18-year-old girl in our program officially potty trained. We've had a 31-year-old man potty train in our program. So I'm going to give you those tips, but of course, run everything by your home team and your doctor. All right, so before we dive into the actual potty process, I want to go over the big three. And this is a philosophy I have of the three foundational skills that I believe every child on the autism spectrum needs for a chance of a life of independence, no matter where they land. The first skill they need is communication. The second one, we want problem behavior at 0 or close to 0. And the third is why we're all here tonight, potty training. So before we get into potty processing, I want to talk about the potty myths that are out there. I already saw a few in some of the Q&A. So you might be thinking, and this is myth number 1, that your child needs to be verbal to potty train. And actually, they do not. If they can't talk, how will they tell me they need to go? And I'm going to go over this with you guys tonight. But if I have this belief, then that's going to stop me from potty training. So that's myth number 1. Myth number 2 is you think that your child is too severe on the spectrum to potty train. If they can't follow simple instructions or they're lost in their world, they can't comprehend, so they can't potty train. Okay? You also might be thinking myth number 3, your child won't sit on the potty. If they're just running around and I can't get their attention, I can't get them to sit. And therefore, if they can't learn to potty train if I can't even get them to stop and sit. Another thing you might be thinking, your child doesn't care if they're dirty or they're not interested in going. If they've got autism, if they're pre-verbal, if they have tons of energy and they just sit in the soiled diaper, then you don't care. And I can't train a child who doesn't care. These are all potty myths, folks. And we're going to go through this. We're going to go through all of these tonight. You also might be thinking myth number 5, your child will hold pee or poop for hours until the pull-up is put back on so they won't go. They put themselves in terrible physical discomfort and hold it till they get the relief of the pull-up. So I can't let this continue, and therefore I can't potty train. Potty myth number 6. You don't know how to teach a child with autism how to potty train. Right? I don't know shit about special education. I didn't come from that field. I am just a mom. I've never been formally trained. I had clear ideas of how I would parent a neurotypical child. But a child with autism, I don't have the skills to teach. I'm ill-equipped. Has anyone had these thoughts? When you believe these potty myths, the action or inaction you're taking looks like this. Not doing anything. Putting potty training off. You're half-assing it when you try. You try a little bit, you don't get the results. See, I guess because of all the myths or all those things that I believe, this can't happen, and I put the diaper back on. You're trying and quitting multiple times. You're leaning on the school or others to do this for you. And the results are your child is still in diapers. You feel like a failure as a parent and nothing changes for your child. And the lack of results here spills over to other areas. Remember the big 3. No communication, increased tantrums and aggression, eloping, excess stimming, picky eating. If I believe in any or all of those potty myths, I'm destined for failure in the potty training department. The steps to potty training any child are the same. I'm going to say that again so that we're clear. It's not any child on the autism spectrum. The steps to potty train any child are the same, and we're going to go over that tonight. It's all about the thoughts we have that decide the outcome we will have with potty training. And this is Mary. She was one of my first clients. Her son was 7 when we first worked together. He was pre-verbal and in diapers. Within 2 weeks of working with me, he was fully potty trained, and within a month, he said mama for the first time. This is possible for every child in here. And it all starts here. And this is what the heart of my program is. I've talked to some of you already about this. Some of my master classes are here tonight. They all know about my champion mindset. And what you need to potty train is a potty power parent mindset. Now, this is a screenshot from a movie called The Matrix, over 20 years old. And it was this little Buddha in the movie, and it looked like he was bending a spoon with his mind. And he tells us not to try to bend the spoon, that's impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth, that there is no spoon. Then you'll see that it's not the spoon that bends, it's only yourself, meaning your mind. I can't change that autism is here, but I have full control over what I think about it. Meaning if I believe I can change the thoughts I think about myself and my child with autism, I can change the outcome for my baby and our reality. The gift and pain of human beings is we can hear our own thoughts. As far as I know, we're one of the only species that can hear our own thoughts. And it's a blessing and a curse. It's a curse because most of us don't question any of the thoughts that our brain presents. And when our brain presents us the same thought over and over and over again, it becomes cemented in our mind as if it's fact. And sometimes that's really great things we think, and sometimes it's not. The gift of being a species that can hear its own thoughts is that we can choose what to get behind and what we want to toss. And one of the big beliefs I had about myself for a very long time is that I'm the exception to the rule, right? How did this identity happen, right? I used to think that people are born like the way that they are. Once I kind of really dived into like what I did for my daughter, what I've done for my life, and helping other families, I realized it wasn't just about the things you do. It was about the identity I became. And when I was a child, I was very shy and mercilessly bullied between kindergarten and middle school. And I remember always having this thought, I wish somebody would come in and save me. Every day I'd come home crying. I was literally, it was almost day after day where I would be tortured in school. I'd be made fun of. And I remember all I kept thinking about was a hero, somebody who had exceptional powers that was going to come in and stop this injustice. And then something happened in middle school. I'll never forget it. It was a very specific instance with this bully that had been a bully for me for years. And I remember thinking, Michelle, stop thinking this. No one's coming. It has to be you. And for the first time ever, I had stood up to that bully, and he never fucked with me again. And it was such a fork in the road for me, because all of a sudden now I had the power to change my reality, that believing that I could be my own hero. And what's a hero, right? A hero is somebody that can do something that others can't, right? We look at a superhero, that's what they have. They have powers that others don't. And if I look at miracles or people that are exceptions to the rules, they can create results where others might not. And I had started to step into that identity of somebody who could be the exception to the rule all the way back to middle school. That's when I had to think about it, when I reverse engineer my brain, right? So when autism came to us, I saw it just like many of you might still see it, like this Rain Man, major debilitating disability. But even with that fear, by the time we got our diagnosis, I was so practiced in the belief that I could create the exception to the rule. I could be the exception to the rule. And of course, by extension, Juliana could be the exception to the rule, which, by the way, are all thoughts I believe about myself. Remember what we talked about on the previous slide, right? There are thoughts that I can get behind that are going to help elevate and move me. And there are thoughts that I may think over and over again that keep me stuck, that keep me terrified. The way our brains work, they're not meant to elevate us. They're not meant to give us what we desperately want for ourselves and our children. Our brains are made not to keep us happy, but to keep us safe. And safe to the brain is living the life you're living now. So as a species who has the gift that can hear its own thoughts, I need to stop listening to every fucking thing my brain presents and start thinking the things that I want to think that are going to get me the motivation, the momentum to start showing up like I was going to show up as a parent before autism came. I choose to believe these things about myself every day. And it's the reason why Juliana is where she is today. I had that identity before autism came into my life. Before I was a mother, I believed this about myself. And that's what saved her. Not a special therapy, not an awesome supplement, not some miracle working doctor. Me believing something was more possible than what I was being told, that what the social norm or the social consideration of what autism could be. And I assumed that all parents thought like this. That's what's so crazy. Like, I really had to go back and think about this. And when we had first gotten diagnosed, we were in our own bubble that first year. We were doing early intervention in the home. And when we finally moved on to a special education preschool, I was floored. I thought for sure, you know, if they weren't even thinking this way about themselves, they were definitely thinking this way about their babies. Because why would we have children if we weren't always thinking about them leaving our legacy on earth when we're gone? But I found that many parents already had white flagged it for their children with autism. And some ways I would see this would just blow my mind is I remember that first year when we were in the most restrictive autism classroom, a 614, I convinced some of the moms to leave for an overnight trip to go to a spa. And I said, you know, we deserve this. We work really hard. Our kids are, you know, whatever. We're gonna do this, right? And while we're in the hot tub, I'll never forget this, that 3 of them were talking about giving their home up to the state. So when they died, their kid, who's going to be adult one day, would have a home to live in when they were gone. We're parents of preschoolers. And listen, you know what? I'm not like against a planner, but that's not a plan. That's a destination to death for your child. I've talked to families with around that same time, talking about, estate planning, talking about getting their children on wait lists to go into group homes earlier than they have to give up their child just to put them into the system earlier than they would have planned, just so that they know they'll have a spot when they're an adult. This is not planning. This is future tripping your child into a group home, future tripping your child into a limited future. When you start putting your energy there, right? That's what the universe is going to deliver to you. I need you to stop that shit if you're doing that now. And I'll tell you something right now. No matter what I tell you tonight, I can't give you the path to potty training if you've already given up on a limitless future for your baby. You can't change anything for your child if you don't believe that you can create change for yourself. And that starts with the thoughts that we think about our autism. What do you believe about your child? Is your lack of belief the reason why your child is still in diapers? You can't change that autism is here. I get that. But you can decide how you want to show up for yourself and your child. Only when you do that can you change your reality and the reality for your baby. What are your thoughts around your child learning to potty train? Do you think they're capable of potty training? Do you think you're capable of teaching them? Does autism mean diapers for life in your mind? Does autism mean cancer to you? Do you see this as a death sentence? Because it's not. The number one reason stopping your child from potty training is your thoughts about it. And I know, listen, I'm a mom like you. I'm a straight shooter. If we're not going to be real tonight and really acknowledge our part in keeping our child in diapers, then I'm not your coach. I have to say the hard thing, not to hurt you, to make you move. You have to move for your baby. And your thoughts are creating your current results with potty training right now. Your thinking needs to be setting yourself and your child up for success when it comes to potty training. And I want you to start to presume better thoughts attached to the belief that you have that your child is so smart. They're capable of this. Start seeking out that evidence. It's already here. You're just choosing not to get behind it. Our thoughts have to be in alignment with the results we want for potty training. One of the best things I always tell my family is presume competence. Even if you ain't sure, it ain't helping you to think that it ain't there. So presume competence. That's your first step. All thoughts that your brain presents to you are optional. You get to choose your thinking to get new emotions, new actions, and the results you so desperately want, including potty training. And I help parents like you to think intentionally to get results you want for your child with autism. Okay, so now let's get into the steps of potty training, which, by the way, are the same for all children. Now that we understand this isn't a tactical problem, we tackle this first. Potty training is a piece of cake. So these are my potty cliff notes. I put these together just to kind of give you an idea of the step-by-step of what needs to happen to potty train a child. Number one, the child's got to show potty readiness signs. That could be staying dry for long in their diaper, taking a dirty diaper off, putting a pull-up on when they want to poop. These are signs that the child is ready to potty train. They don't need all of them, by the way. They just need one. And I would venture to say 4 and up, they're ready to potty train. Number two, they need to be free of any gastro issues such as loose stool, diarrhea, or painful constipation. We can't expect a child to potty train if they're dealing with loose stool or diarrhea. You know how that feels, right? And you're an expert in going to the bathroom, right? So when I feel like my stomach's going to grumble and I'm probably going to have to go poop, right? I know what kind of time frame I've got before I'm going to have an accident. We're training a child with a brand new skill that doesn't have that type of feel for Mother Nature, for when nature calls. So we can't train them when they're dealing with these types of problems. We have to fix this first, and then we can potty train. And when I talk about constipation, I want to be real clear on this. This ain't constipation like, oh, they only poop once a week. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about painful, their belly's distended, they're in terrible pain. We have to solve for that first. Potty training and constipation, run-of-the-mill constipation goes hand in hand. When I'm talking about painful constipation is like a medical issue that's affecting them behaviorally. Okay? Number three, they have to be willing to sit on a potty. I heard that tonight. We can't run before we crawl. So if you're struggling to get him to sit, then that's your work first. We don't go through and no wonder you want to quit, right? Because I have this child that's running around and I'm trying to go through the whole process of getting them to sit and then eliminate this. It's never going to happen. We have to teach them we have to create a reason for them to want to sit. And you have to do that first. Number four, they got to be motivated to go. Right now, you and I are naturally motivated to use the bathroom when we hear nature call. Because if we don't, we're going to wet our pants. I'm going to wet the chair I'm in. I'm going to have to clean myself up, stop what I'm doing. The reward is naturally built in with all the reps that we've had with it. Your child gets their diaper changed right now. They don't see that value. We have to give them a reason to want to go. Number five, a schedule to go. You guys will all do this. You'll say, okay, I got to the point where, if I take them every hour, but they're not telling me, like it's a problem. This is a part of the process for all children. First, they need to have okay, pee and poop go here. Okay, got it. And then they need to be told when to go because they're still learning. They're still feeling nature call. They need lots of reps of this, lots of wins to get it going like you and I got it. And if we're committed to the potty training process, there are no more diapers. Diapers are pull-ups. No more either of these. We're committed now. We're not dipping our toe in the potty pool. We're doing full submersion. And we got to get those lots of reps of attempting to go. This is what it takes to become fully potty trained. We're committed. We're getting a lot of reps in of it. Number 8, we have to be reminded when to go. This goes for all children. Sometimes they'll put them on a schedule first, then we'll have to remind them. Even my kids, I have 8 and 10. All right, we're going to the restaurant. I don't want to go to the bathroom there. Or we're going to the movies. I don't want to get up in the middle of the movie. Make sure you go pee. I don't have to go. No, I want you to go anyway. I have 8 and 10-year-olds that I still do this with. This is a part of the process that goes for all children. And number 9 is to tell us when they have to go or the child starts using the potty independently. So this is it. These are the steps that it takes. But I'll tell you something. You're not here because you failed at tactical. You're here because you're struggling with the mental. And the mental is such a struggle, and you can't see it so clearly because you're giving them a pass because of the autism. And I'm not saying that autism doesn't add a little spice to the program, right? Or I'm not saying that there isn't anything to learn here, but it's not less. I wouldn't treat a child, no matter where they land on the spectrum, less. It's just different. And the amazing thing is that if I can teach a child that learns different one way, I can teach them everything the same way. Okay? So the skills you need to potty train your child is number one, you need to be consistent. That's one of the biggest fails I see. And you're not consistent right now because you don't think it's possible. We got to fix this first so you can be consistent. So you know there's no other option to be consistent. Number two, you need to be committed. I am on the potty train and we are not getting off until we're in underwear land. Okay? I'm absolutely committed to this process. There's no universe in my mind. And this is what I said about Juliana. Juliana was diagnosed moderate to severe. She had language and she lost it. We potty trained her with a sign. She wasn't even talking yet. And I remember thinking in my head, like, there will never be a universe, no matter where whatever happens to her, even if she needed forever care. And I didn't know at that time, right? I remember thinking in my head, there's not going to be ever a universe where I'm changing a 10-year-old shit diaper. It's just never happening. Not in my home. That's the identity of a master fucking problem solver. It was never even a consideration that this would be optional in my home. And that is the identity I need you to step into tonight. Number three, you need to be willing to clean up accidents. This isn't potty perfection. This is potty training. I had Mom fighting with me in the comments of one of my reels on Instagram. And I said, a pull-up is really the same thing as a diaper. And she's like, well, no, they can pull it up and down. It's giving them practice. I said, so does underwear. She's like, yeah, but I don't have to clean up the mess. And I'm like, well, then, I don't understand. Like, we all sign on to be parents, right? And if the child has totally capable of learning, and you want to avoid having to clean up accidents, that's what potty training is about. You're going to have some accidents. That's the only accidents have to happen for the wins to happen. So you have to be willing to just accept that that's a part of the process. It's no more painful for you because your child's on the spectrum. That's just a thought error. And number four, you need to be in a winning or learning mentality. We're going to talk about this a lot tonight. You're going to talk about things that you've tried that haven't worked, and you're going to see them as total fails. And when I see it as total fails, guess what? I don't want to keep doing it. Who wants to be a fucking failure forever at something, right? I'd rather move on to something else or buffer out on a TV show or just put the diaper back on than keep looking in the mirror and saying, I just keep fucking up and this keeps not going my way. It's the worst mentality to have. It's a thought error. There are no fails in potty training. You're either learning or you're winning. And how is it hurting you that you're thinking that you're failing all the time? How motivated are you going to be to want to get this done? And the results, if you can do all of this, be consistent, stay committed, know that you're going to clean up accidents and it's okay. And you're going to be winning and learning. You're not failing anymore. Your child's going to be more compliant. You're going to be practicing instructional control with potty training. It's one of the best. I love it for so many reasons. One of it's like, it's black and white. Either you're pooping in a potty. I'm just letting my dog out. Either you're pooping on a potty or you're pooping on the floor, right? So you're learning instructional control by teaching your child this important life skill. Even just getting them to sit is you starting to take the reins back as a parent. And when you do this, your child will be more compliant. You're going to be more confident that you can teach them anything. Fuck this autism, man. And I'm not even saying it in that way. I don't care about it like that. I don't think it's less. Just like I don't look at it as like this negative. I look at this like, all right, her brain learns differently. And in fact, I sometimes think it's easier to teach her because I know how to teach her anything. And it all started for us. It actually started with us for sign language, but for a lot of my families, it starts with potty training. You do that. This isn't just about potty training. You can master this. I want you to think that this is the gateway to a different life to live with this child moving forward. That's what it was. When she did her first sign for Cookie, it fucking blew my world apart. All that time, I thought she didn't understand anything I was saying. She makes a sign for Cookie in less than a day. She has 10 signs within a week. My baby was in there the entire time. That's all I needed. Sometimes this is all that you guys need. That's why I want you to see. This isn't just about potty training. This is about how you're going to live your life and raise this child for the rest of your life. When you do this, you're going to be less stressed because you're going to feel confident. You're going to like, oh, I can handle anything now. And you and your child will have more freedom. Your child will be potty trained. The biggest result we all want tonight. And that's the potty power class. Now, I want to invite you guys tonight to learn about the masterclass. I want to give you guys an option to get moving, and starting this work now. Because every single day that goes by is an opportunity for your child to have the big three, to be potty trained, to be communicating, to not have tantruming behaviors anymore. And waiting to develop these skills means you're waiting to stop changing diapers. Your waiting also means that you're dealing with constant tantrums because your child can't communicate and they're frustrated. And waiting means you're enduring problem behaviors with no end in sight. And worse, waiting to help your baby is stopping your child from having a chance in an independent life. We can't be the roadblock from that happening anymore. Starting to teach your child these skills today is the single most important thing you can do for yourself, your child, and your whole entire family. And this is what my masterclass is all about. So this is an email I got from one of my first masterclasses. I've been running it for about 2.5 years now, and her name is Kim. And she said, when I first found you, Easton was 3, and I couldn't get a firm diagnosis. He had very few words, 0 social skills, and was not potty trained. I found you the same day as our IEP meeting. That day I was defeated and overwhelmed after they asked me to list some of Easton's strengths. I sat there in tears as I struggled to come up with an answer. I had to find help, and luckily I found you. It's been 2 years since I joined the masterclass, and today I had a meeting with the school regarding his kindergarten placement. He's set to start in a general education class 80% of the time. He is fully potty trained. He has no aggressive behaviors. His speech is blossoming, and he tells me he loves me on a daily basis. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, had I not found you, we would not be here. I want you to know the work you do is so appreciated. It truly made all the difference in my life, and most importantly, Easton's life. You have literally turned our life around, and I can't tell you enough what that means to our family. You are truly a lifesaver. And this was a thank you note I got at the end of the year, right before Juliana hit kindergarten. She was working with the speech language pathologist for 2 years. And I saved this card, I have it framed. I will never forget it. I highlighted it just like I did here, that Juliana has made more gains and skills than she's ever seen in 25 years of experience. It started with the identity that I am the exception to the rule. I am stepped into an identity of somebody that can master problem solve for anything, including my child's autism. And I can teach her anything. When I have 0 experience with autism, I didn't have this in my family. I had no prior knowledge of it. I wasn't formally trained. I'm not a special education teacher. I'm not a BCBA. But I just knew, even though I didn't know how, that there's just no way I'm not going to be able to solve for this. And I want you to step into that identity for your baby starting today. So why would you want to join our program? Number one, you're going to get personalized strategies for exactly where your baby's at. You're going to get a potty trained child. I have a 100% success rate for potty training in my program. Nobody leaves without a potty trained child. You come in, you do the work, 100% success rate for that, and communication. I'll double down on that. You'll start to reconnect with your child because communication's finally in place. And we're going to get to the root level of your child's problem behaviors and treat it, not just treat the symptom. When life happens, we can help you to get back on track. If a regression happens, we can tell you exactly how to handle it. We're going to learn from trial and error rather than quitting on our kids, because the only true fail of being an autism parent is quitting. We're going to teach you how to build that champion mindset so you no longer have to worry about autism every minute of every day. And you're going to get your life back too. It's the most fabulous byproduct of being a part of the masterclass. And the way that the program works is it's a 3-month group coaching program with guaranteed results. I'm going to talk about that guarantee tonight. And the first part of the program that you get is lifetime access to my study vault of courses. We're talking about hundreds of hours of workshops and courses I've created on various topics. This is everything I've gone through with my daughter, everything we've gone through with some of the families in the masterclass, potty training, communication, stopping problem behavior, social skills for our emerging talkers in here, teaching them how to try new foods, mindset training, right? 95% of the game is here. I need to get you battle ready. I want your child to stop eloping. And I build this out every month. My daughter's 10. We're about to hit puberty. I'm going to go through, until she's out the door, I'll be building out my study vault of courses. And you get lifetime access to this if you join the masterclass tonight. And you can deep dive right into it. And you can take all of it right away, or you can take your time because you have you can do it on your own time because you have it forever. And I like to think of this collection of programs as what makes my program the Harvard of autism. There's not one topic I don't cover. In addition to the study vault, you're also going to get 3 to 4 live group coaching calls a week. You're going to learn from me and my team. The first call each week is with me. I'm the Autism Mom and Life Coach. We're going to start creating blueprints for potty training. We're going to start creating blueprints for communication. I know what it's like to live this life, and I want to help you pull you through. In addition to that, you're also going to get BCBA calls. So if you're not getting behavioral therapy, you're going to have access to my BCBAs. One of them was with Juliana when her language was emerging. And then I have a very special treat in one of my BCBAs, which is Armando. We have a lot of boys in the program. So it's always nice to have a male teacher that is a BCBA that you get to tap into their knowledge base. But on top of that, Armando is also an adult with autism. Armando did not speak till the age of 7. This is what's possible for your baby. And this is Melissa and Stacy. I have over 30 plus years of behavioral experience, official BCBAs that are a part of this program that you're also going to get access to. All 3 to 4 calls a week. In addition to that, you're going to get a mindset coaching call. If you're worrying about autism every minute of every day, if you can't sleep at night, if you're stressed out about your job, stressed out about your marriage, you're stressed out on how to navigate this, this is what this call is about. And that's Risa and Holly. They're going to help you to get your mind right so that you can stay focused on momentum for your baby. And even though it's a group coaching program, you raise your hand, you get your question answered. And every week we build on our progress. That's why nobody leaves without what they came for. So in addition to the study vault, you also get the 3 to 4 live group coaching calls a week. We have specialist calls every month. We have a registered dietitian who's an autism mom, and we also have a speech language pathologist that not only is an autism mom, but she was one of my master classers. She graduated from my program and loved it so much she wanted to be a part of it. You're going to get to speak to not just specialists in the field, but specialists that know what it's like to live like us, know what it's like to have a child on the spectrum and how to help them. And everyone gets their questions answered. So with this program, you get the study vault, you get the 3 to 4 live group coaching calls a week, you get those monthly specialist calls, and you also get my private Facebook community. So if you need help in between calls, I had a mom who joined late Monday. She's already posting in the group and getting support on getting her child using his talker more. And we're already strategizing just in the comments in the group. You're going to be able to do this with us. So in between calls, if you need support, you post in that group, you can email me directly. When you join this program, your baby becomes my baby. Support is my North Star. I want to see you win. So when you join, you get everything that's included here: the study vault, the weekly group coaching calls, the private Facebook community, the access to me and my team, but you also get my guarantee. It's an action-backed guarantee that says if after 90 days you don't get the results you came for, which could be potty training, communication, it could be all of it, you either stay in the program till you do or I give you your money back. That's how solid I am in what I offer. So for tonight, we're going to do some bonuses because I love action takers and I want to motivate you. If you want help with this, I'm here. My team is here to answer the call. If you join the masterclass tonight, not only will you get the study vault, not only will you get the 3 to 4 live weekly coaching calls and the monthly specialists and the Facebook community and access to me, you're also going to get bonus number 1, which is a private session with me and a private session with a BCBA. You're going to get 2 private sessions. We're going to hit the ground running. As soon as you join, we're going to schedule our first session. We're going to schedule you with the BCBA, and we're going to start creating your blueprint to help your baby now. In addition to this bonus, I've got a second one. Normally, this program is 90 days, but if you join tonight, I'm going to give you 5 months in the program instead of 3. That's 70 plus calls over the course of 5 months to change your life, to change your baby's life. But you have to join tonight. And in addition to that, in addition to everything you're going to get, bonus number 3. If you join tonight, I'm going to do $500 off the program if you join by midnight tonight. For Potty Power students only today, the investment in the program is $2,497. Or 3 payments of $878, or 4 payments of $660. That's only $16 a day, 70 plus calls to change your baby's life. All bonuses go away after midnight. You can join now. Jen's going to post the link in the chat box. If you're thinking, can I afford to spend the money on this? Or this is expensive. What do these thoughts mean to you? And I really want to hit this home because I actually call this, I don't never really call this the real reason why people don't join the masterclass. It's a surface level objection. It's your knee-jerk thought. Because I remember a time where I was dirt poor and I would write checks that I knew would bounce just to pay for my groceries. I drove around a car with no insurance. And at that same time, I could still find the money for the things that I valued the most to make me feel good, even in those really tough times. So I want to say, like, the ability to do this isn't about the money. It's always something different. And then when Juliana was diagnosed, I remember thinking in my head, we, at that point, were in a much better situation financially. I was in my early 20s when I was riding like a crazy lady, right? And I had no money and it was hand to mouth. By the time Juliana was born, it was paycheck to paycheck. So we went from hand to mouth to paycheck to paycheck. Every dollar counted. And as soon as she was diagnosed, I got right into my office. I sat down in front of my computer and I started Googling somebody to help me, somebody to tell me what to do, because I had no clue. I needed somebody to help me to save my baby. This is why I do what I do now, because I never found anybody. But I remember searching and searching and thinking in my head, well, how much could something like this cost? And I don't know what came to my head. I think it was like $5,000 or something came into my head. And I said, how would we figure this out? And I'm immediately in my head moving things around, thinking about what I could sell, doing whatever I could do, because there's no way. This was so important to me to help her have this shot at an independent life that I wouldn't have figured out a way to make this happen. There's no way that this would never be a priority for me. And then I thought, what if it was 10,000? Still, it was the same idea. I'm going to find this person. I never found it. So I became that person. And that's why I do what I do today. So when you're thinking this, I want you to really think, well, what's the real reason? Because even in my worst times, I could find money for the things that I valued. Is it belief in self? Because that's a big one. That's one of the reasons why my mindset is such a big part of my program. Remember what I said earlier. If you don't believe that you can change for yourself, there's no program, no therapist, no special potion out there that's going to solve for the problems that you're having with your child with autism. I got to start by getting you to believe in yourself first. And that's our work. When I get that, all the action that you have to take for your child, you already know what you have to do. But now you're going to be doing it with a mindset that's like, I don't quit. I'm a mama fucking bear and I show up for my baby and there's no way I'm stopping till I get what I came for. If you're thinking that you're too busy to join or you don't know if now's a good time, listen, right now, if you've been doing it on your own this whole time, if it was working, you wouldn't be here tonight. And if you still want to continue to do it on your own, that is an option that's available to you. It's going to take you a lot longer, especially if time is an asset that you're struggling to manage right now. And what I say to parents, I had a family email me on Monday and say, listen, I have a question. Do you think it's even possible that both of us are working full time, that we could potty train a child with autism? And this is what I said to them. I said, you know what? Either it's a priority to get this done now, no matter what our life circumstances are or our schedule, or it's a priority to have an excuse not to. You get to decide. And yes, to answer that question, not only do I have multiple families that have both parents working in my program that have potty trained their children on the spectrum, I have a mother that's in Pakistan, and all of my calls are scheduled Eastern Standard Time. She sets her clock, wakes up at 3 a.m, is on almost every fucking call. She joined less than a month ago. Her daughter is pre-verbal. She started signing within a week, and 2 days ago, she said car for the first time. When you make it a priority, then that's the only priority. Your brain's going to go to work to do whatever it takes to get what it came for. And that's what I want you to start believing about this. If you're thinking, I need to think about it, indecision is more dangerous than a wrong decision. And when I say I need to think about it, it puts my brain on pause. It puts my action on pause. Should I or shouldn't I? Maybe I need to think about it. Maybe I need to talk to somebody. Maybe I need to do this, do that. When I do that, that's precious brain energy I could be putting towards potty training immediately with Michelle and her program. And whether it's me or not, indecision just period is a huge fucking problem. If you think thinking about it's going to make it, making a decision easier, it's the exact opposite. It's going to make it harder. The more you think about it, the more your brain is going to second guess you to stay in the cave. Remember, the brain wants to keep you safe. Safety is not elevating you. Safety is not getting you to join a program that you have no idea what to do or how to do, and you've never done anything like this before. Your brain wants to keep you in the cave, which means keep you everything the same. Change is dangerous. You've got to make a decision. I failed so many times, or I've tried everything. How will this be different? That's that fail mentality we talked about earlier. I don't believe in fails. I don't believe in trying something and it didn't work and that was a big fucking waste of time. And I'm a loser for picking that because I don't even know why I would do that. It was awful. And it wasn't awful. You made a decision based upon what you thought would be best for you and your child, and it didn't work out, right? But if you look at it as a fail, you're never going to try anything new for your child. It's a death sentence. What if you fail? Why is failing a problem? The discomfort you fear experiencing, you are already living it with the way things are now with your child. Staying in fear is the reason your child is still in diapers. Don't let fear make the decision for you. Remember, there are no fails. What if everything you've done to potty train that hasn't worked led you to this moment to find the thing that does? And I'm not failing anymore. I'm not looking at everything I've done in the past. I don't look at anything I did in the past, and I've done tons of shit with Juliana that didn't work. And I don't look at any of that as like a problem because I know now what doesn't work, right? So I'm not going to be spending any time on that in the future. So I don't consider that. I consider it my tuition of life. That's what I call it. So I'm either learning or I'm winning. The only real fail as a parent is quitting on your kid. And here's a word about unicorn syndrome because this comes up every time. Juliana is different than my child. Juliana was diagnosed moderate to severe on the spectrum. She had language and lost it. We had to teach her sign language, which is a sign for potty. It's possible for her to go from that to this chatty fourth grader who had her first full fourth grade year at a general education class. She was in integrated up until this point. This is her first year in a general education class. If it's possible for her, it's possible for you. It's possible for your child. My child has severe autism. So did Armando. His mother was told that he would need forever care. He was never going to speak. Armando is thriving. He was in life skill classes till I think grade 2 or 3. Then when he finally got into gen ed, he was immediately within 6 months and gifted and talented. He graduated high school with a degree like everybody else, with a diploma like everybody else. He went to college. He got his master's degree in behavioral therapy. He's married. He's working towards buying a house. He owns his own business. This is possible for your baby. This works for other kids, but it don't work for mine. My child's broken or I'm broken. There's nothing out there that'll change the trajectory for my child. Unicorn syndrome is a self-preservation state. Remember that brain of ours, right? If I stay there, I never put myself out there to have these hopes and dreams for my baby. And when that doesn't happen, I can't be hurt. Subconsciously, I can't risk trying and failing. I won't survive it. And let me tell you something, as a mother who has tried lots of shit, and I did not fail, right? Technically, they're all fails, but I don't see them that way. It's my tuition of life. I've tried more shit that hasn't worked with Juliana that has. But the reason she is where she is today is because I'm in the identity as I'm a master fucking problem solver. There's not one thing I won't figure out to solve for. I feel that way about my child, and I feel that way about yours. And I'm going to show you how to get into that identity if you aren't there now. Saying I don't know or asking shitty questions with no real answers keeps you stuck and not taking action to help your baby now. Indecision is keeping you second guessing and losing precious time that you could be making progress now. Nothing comes from an I don't know or a bullshit question you can't answer. Just decide. Decide you're not ready and you won't do the work, or decide you're nervous but you're willing to go for it. Give yourself the gift of a decision. Honor yourself and your child right now. If fears and worry are dominating your day and night, then join us. If there's something in you that identifies with what I've taught tonight, how I've spoken to you today, and it makes sense, take the leap of faith and join us. saying yes will have you and your baby moving forward today. So for Potty Power workshoppers, tonight only, if you book into the program by midnight, you get 1 private session with me, 1 private session with our BCBA, 5 months in the program instead of 3, and you get $500 off. All bonuses go away after midnight tonight. That's a typo on my screen. It's midnight tonight. So make sure that you book into the program. And you can click the link in the chat box. And I believe we've also sent you an email to join. And we're going to go to this video real quick. And then we are going to get to Q&A. So we need a pee break.
All right, so now, I guess, where are you now? You and your child, now that you've joined the program.
He's awesome. He is fully potty trained now.
But now we go outside and not in full house because we've learned to let him use the bathroom.
They're doing really, really well. Both are potty trained. I'd say 95% of the time, doing really, really well.
Obviously, potty training is huge. You know, just a lot of things.
Totally potty trained. We go everywhere, just in our undies. We don't have to worry about that.
He honestly now is 85% potty trained. Now and then he has some accidents, but he pretty much is able to go on his own.
I was scared I was going to be one of those parents that their child was not going to be potty trained.
We did the 3-day intensive, like you suggested, and is potty trained, 100% no accidents for pee.
2 weeks ago, we completely removed the diapers in the night.
Yes, it's very exciting to have him potty trained, and that was our goal for our school.
I just want to say that within a month of being in the program, Jude was potty trained, both number 1 and number 2. He hasn't been in a pull-up for over 4 weeks.
Everything, we got the service for him in 3 months. He's potty trained, he's more verbal.
He's potty trained. I take him to the potty, he pees. He has no accidents, and he loves going to the potty. There's no problematic behavior.
And we're lacking staff, and I think because he's got the pooping down and he's very independent of the whole process.
You know, I started listening to tips from Michelle, got involved in the course, and in the first couple of weeks, my son was fully potty trained.
And I know you're giving some advice to help him stay dry overnight, which has been helping. And it's been wonderful for me.
You and your team help pull that out. It's amazing. You know, it's amazing what you guys do.
God, yes. We go everywhere now. We have no diapers with us. I always just take a little spare of underwear just in case he gets an accident. But he'll tell us. We'll go to the mall and he'll tell us that he says potty. Or he'll see a door that looks like it might be a bathroom door and he'll pull you in like he wants to go in there. And we go to the potty in the mall. It's incredible.
It has been absolutely life-changing for me.
Absolutely. Hands down of everything we've done. You guys have a gift.
100%. I do recommend it.
This is going to help you.
You'd be crazy to not get in this program if you have concerns about your child.
Absolutely. And I have already been recommending.
It's amazing.
Just do it.
Yes, definitely. You guys need to do this program. It'll change you guys and your child's life tremendously.
Awesome. I got the best moms ever. Shout out to my master classes. I got the best moms ever. All right. Who wants to be coached tonight? So Jen's going to be posting the wheel of names in a second. Anyone who's here right now, you're going to be in a raffle to win a private session with me. Are you ready, Jen, or should I just take the first person who wants to be coached tonight? Hello, Jen. Are you there? Oh, she's ready. She is ready for wheel of names. I love it. All right, let's go. Let's see who wins. We got to get some music going with this next time. Angelie. Angelie is here. Angelie, you're going to email Michelle at michellbrogers.com. You have a free private session coming your way. Amazing. Michelle at michellbrogers.com. I put it in the chat. And we will start with Nicole. Nicole, you're going to come up. Your screen's going to flash. You're going to come up. You're going to be in a quiet place. You're going to have good audio and video. And you're going to have good internet. And we're going to be able to chat with no distractions. And here you go, Nicole. Excited to chat. If anyone wants coaching tonight, raise your hand. Let me go to some of the questions. Let's go to some questions. Where are they? Oh, there we go. My son is 12 and he sits to pee. Hi, Nicole. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. How was tonight? Was it helpful tonight so far?
Yeah, I mean it was. I think I actually have a good mentality.
All right, good. Let's hear it then.
I'm a teacher. I'm a kindergarten teacher.
Okay.
So I wasn't shocked when I kind of realized my son had autism.
Okay.
I kind of I was like, all right, he's gonna have autism. I definitely.
All right. So how old is he? That's okay. How old is he?
Four. He's 4.
And what's his name?
Grayson.
Grayson. Okay. So when it comes to potty training, tell me all about what have you tried?
Okay, everything.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So I definitely the potty myth was like, he's holding it, he's gonna like get an infection. I gotta put the pull-up back on. So Grayson's he's very smart, he's very bright. He's nonverbal, but I should say he's non-speaking because he's the loudest child of all time. He's so loud. So he will sit on the potty reluctantly, but he'll sit on the potty. He'll like push my husband to go in front of the potty, like, hey, daddy, you do it. And I know I think he would have been potty trained by now. We had last year, we had gone on a vacation and he was in the bathtub and I put a ton of bubbles in the bathtub. It's like the first time he had bubbles.
Okay.
And all over his body, head to toe. And then all of a sudden he started like screaming, crying. And I was like, what's going on? So I when he's like pushing at himself and he's like pushing like the bubbles off. So I like wipe him off with the water and I'm like, oh, that was weird. Whatever. I let it go. Next day we try to go in the bathtub. He won't go in the bathtub. I'm like, what the hell is going on? What is happening with my child? And now he won't go in the bathtub unless he has like a bathing suit on. So my husband, being a man, thinks what happens was like he might have like peed in the shower and got like soap and it like stung and burned. So now he's like terrified. So he doesn't.
So you guys think that the reason why he's not potty trained is because of this traumatic incident where
he doesn't want you going anywhere near his business. He's like, nope.
Okay, so he doesn't want anyone. All right, okay, all right. I'm playing with you. All right, so here we go.
Okay, so that's the only thing I can think of because he just does. He's just like, nope, don't touch me.
So I just want to get clear on what it is that you think, besides the hand here, right? So basically, that's the situation in the tub with the bubbles. You think you think that he peed in there and some of the pee got in his eye?
No.
I'm trying to understand.
No, my husband, what I've learned, like soap got in like the urethra and burned like his penis.
Okay. So you think
sensation.
And that happened because he peed in there, so it was kind of the door was
because it came out of like nowhere. He decided
so the door was open, pee came out, and bubbles went in. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, okay. That's what we're thinking, and it's stung.
All right. So tell me what you've tried. Okay. Yes. All right. Now tell me what you've tried. This is very fucking traumatic, by the way.
It's horrible.
All right. So now tell me. All right.
So he'll sit on the pot, like we'll like go sit on the potty, and he'll sit, and he'll be like, and he'll cry.
He doesn't want to sit, right? He doesn't really want to sit.
No.
Okay.
Nope. I can get him to sit longer when I have like like the Reese's peanut butter cup or like some type of incentive, like sit down, and he'll go and he'll sit.
Okay.
And then there are random times he'll just go because I just leave it out. I have the potty out like right in the living room, just there so you can see it visual.
But sometimes he'll just go.
He'll just go and all of a sudden he'll just be sitting on it with his pull up on, but he'll just kind of just be sitting there, and I'll be like, yay, and clap for him. Then he'll clap. But when you ask him to go on it, it's always an issue. That like little whine. He sits for like 2 seconds, like closes his eyes, and then gets up and claps like, yay, I did it.
Got it. Okay. All right, so let me tell you what's going on here.
Yes,
with your this absolute horror story that you just shared,
isn't it? It's terrible.
Yeah, and it's not the fucking reason. So,
okay,
it's hysterical though because your brain has sold you on like, listen.
Well, that's all I could think of. Like, why?
And bubbles went in, and whether that happened or not, that's not why he's not potty training. But that's the reason he isn't potty trained. You believe that bullshit. So whether it was true or not is inconsequential. You investing that your energy of that he was so traumatized, and the way you describe it is drama, that I wouldn't want to fucking potty train my kid either. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're thinking that he went through a trauma. So if you think your child is associating going to the bathroom as trauma, how motivated are you really going to want to put the effort into potty training him?
Well, I'm pretty motivated. I got 10 weeks. I'm on school break.
I wouldn't be motivated. I'd be kind of scared. I'd feel bad.
No, I'm not. I'm not scared. I'm more like frustrated. Like, what do I do?
Well, yeah,
what,
you're frustrated because it's not happening, but at the same time, you're believing this traumatic experience happened to him, and you're afraid you're going to re-traumatize him. So who wants to potty train in that scenario, right?
Yeah.
No, nobody. So what I got to look at first is that thought, whether that whatever happened, we don't really know. We can't know for certain what caused the disruption in the tub. But by making that hypothesis, that's why he's still in diapers. You just need to, it's just awareness around that.
Mm-hmm.
That if thinking that, whatever it was, I can't prove for a fact that what you guys believe is what happened, and you can't either. But regardless of that, thinking it is just keeping us stuck.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. And that's why mindset's such a huge part of my program is I need to be able to see shit thoughts like this, call them and say, like, I got to stop thinking this, whether it's true or not. I can't even prove it, but it's not fucking helping my cause.
Yeah, it's not.
There are plenty of there's plenty of things that have happened. My daughter pooped in the pool, in the safety swim pool 5 times in a row, 5 weeks in a row. It means everybody's got to get out. Everyone's appointment's got to be rescheduled. I had daggers of death stares at me. Like, well, what the fuck with you and your kid? Right. And that was traumatic, but I still potty trained her.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to start getting into an identity that even when shit goes really crazy like that's not going to be a deterrent from me hitting goal. That's going to be the first step for you. The reason why this isn't happening is because you're trying to potty train a child that refuses to sit. He doesn't want to sit.
Mm-hmm.
So how am I going to run if I can't crawl? How am I going to get him to sit and eliminate and get up and pull his pants up and wash his hands and flush? It's never going to happen. I have to work on getting him to sit first. Does this make sense?
Yep.
But it never would have occurred to you because you were so vested in the belief of this Stranger Things trauma bubble bath nightmare. It would have never occurred to you. And you're like, listen, I'm a kindergarten teacher. I saw this coming. I knew this was coming. So like, there's almost even like a sense of like, if having that identity and I haven't solved for this, that's got to be in the back of your mind too. I want you to understand there's one thing to be a teacher. It's another thing to have your own child that needs these skills. And
that I've learned that I definitely
I want you to give yourself grace, because if you thought you should know this because you're in this field, that's not how this works, especially when it comes to our own children and our own emotions involved with thinking about like a diagnosis that we didn't know was going to be a part of the equation of being a parent.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Does this feel a little clearer for you now?
It does. Now I just want to know how the hell do I get him to sit?
All right. So you're fucking hysterical. You already said it. This is why I know mindset is 95% of the game. You already said it. How do you get him to fucking sit? You're hysterical. You already told him. Give him candy? Fuck yeah. I don't care. Give him fucking anything. The idea here is to get him to want to sit. I got to show him why he want to sit. He don't understand. Just because you want him to do it, that ain't enough a reason for him to do it. Yeah. I got to figure out what's the value. Why would I want to do this?
Mm-hmm.
So you even said it. And this is that's why mindset is the key to everything. It's the logjam to all progress. She already knew what she was supposed to do. She was already getting progress, muddily implementing it, but she couldn't see it because she was so blinded by the trauma that she bestowed on this poor baby because he got bubbles in his peanut.
Yep. Yeah.
So yes. So what I'd like to do is I always say I'd like the reward to be 10 times the ask. Goes for potty training, for the actual elimination, and for sitting. So especially if we have a child who won't sit. So the first thing I want to do is come up with like, all right, what am I asking him to do? I'm only asking him to sit. So if he's got a lot of phobia around it, we got to fix that first. We want to figure out where his baseline is. Will he sit without, that's not me holding him down. It's me asking him to sit. If he sits and he pops back up and I do a stopwatch and that's 5 seconds, and that's my baseline. I start. Then I say, okay, I get a visible and audible timer like my phone, or there's this thing called time timer. I love it. And it's a timer that's visible and it makes a noise. And when this goes off, you sit. And when this goes off, you say, and you be a good boy, I'll give you a little M&M. I'll give you a Hershey Kiss. I'll give you a peanut butter cup. Do you see what I'm saying? And then we just start building that time out until we can get them going 3 to 5 minutes, enough for a pee or poop to pass. And then let's fucking go. And let's retire the the horror show DVD trauma. Forget that ever fucking happened. Make a decision that thinking about that, replaying that whole thing over and over and over again is the whole reason this isn't done.
Yeah.
Is that helpful?
Yes. Yeah,
I got what I did.
Yeah.
All right, Paul, let me know how it shakes out with him, all right?
All right, thank you.
Rock it out. All right, I'll talk to you soon. That's hysterical. It was like full on Stranger Things drama. That was a first. I'll give you that one. That one's a first. All right, Christina, you're next. If you want to be coached tonight, raise your hand. That was a first. Let me get this straight. You had the bubbles in the bath. You think he took a pee. Nobody even knows. Just making this idea that you think he took a pee. Maybe he just didn't like the bubbles. I don't know. I was hysterical. You guys make me laugh. All right, Christine, you're up. I think it's Christine. There we go. Yes, Christine. Hi, how are you? Christine. Unmute yourself. Let me answer some questions while you're unmuting yourself. Sometimes they'll use the potty and sometimes they won't. Like, try to get them to use the potty, but they won't. So we want to try and, again, if you haven't already figured it out, we've got to motivate them to want to use it. We don't create motivation. They have no desire to use it. Just because you want them to use it ain't enough for them to want to partake. So we want to create a reason for them to want to use it. All right. Are you ready, Christine?
Yes.
All right. Tell me about your baby. Tell me about your potty training. What have you tried? Hi, baby.
We have tried several different things, and I am on the mindset that he's not showing visual cues, and it will last a couple days.
You're of the mindset. All right, so you're of the mindset that he's not showing potty readiness signs?
Exactly.
Okay, so let's talk about him. So how old is he?
He is 5.
He's 5, and what's his name?
His name is Kason.
Kason. Hi, Kason. Okay. So does Kason ever wake up dry?
No.
Does Kason ever walk around the house and the diaper stays dry for a little bit, even for an hour, and then all of a sudden it's full?
Yes.
Okay. Has Kason ever tried to take off a dirty diaper?
Yes.
Has Kason ever been interested when you or somebody else in the family uses the bathroom to see what you're doing?
He comes in there, but he doesn't really pay attention to what we're doing on the potty.
Okay. So just from the 4 I gave you, you only need 1 and he already has 2.
Yes.
So you're of the mindset that he is not ready. And because you are of that mindset, he is still in diapers.
Correct.
Very easy. Okay. So let's talk about some things that you've tried. So tell me what you've tried.
I have tried the potty chart. If he goes, he gets a sticker. I have moved a potty into the living room so that way he can have it there, easy accessible, I guess you could say. I have put him on the potty every hour. He has no problem with sitting on the potty.
All right, so he sits on a schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So the schedule you had him on was every hour?
Yes.
All right. So what was happening when you do that?
He would sit there for sometimes a minute or 2. I could get him to sit longer if I was reading him a book, keeping him occupied, but he never would use it.
Got it. Okay. And what's the reward for going?
We've done stickers. We've done, those little sensory toys that you usually get.
Yeah, sensory toys,
grab bag, things like that.
Yeah.
I've just piled them all together, so that's in kind of like a treasure box. I do like the little miniature Hershey Kisses and things like that. Hershey candy bars, those are in there. Just basically kind of like a little treasure chest type thing. And at first it was a reward for just sitting on the potty. And then when he was sitting on it regularly, I stopped giving him the treats. And I said that I would just give him a treat if he only used the potty, and he never used the potty and got frustrated with me because he expected a treat every time.
Got it. All right, got it. So what do you think the problem is? I mean, you had a strategy here. You kind of pulled, you put together some ideas. You had him on a sit schedule. What do you think the issue is?
I guess I noticed one thing that you was saying is that no pull-ups at all. And
does he like to be dirty? He doesn't like to be dirty.
He loves to be dirty, whether it's dirt outside or he has never came to me and let me know that he's had on a dirty diaper or a wet diaper. He's never taken off a dirty diaper. He has taken off a wet diaper before.
Oh yeah, so he was taking off a wet diaper before. God, so he doesn't want to be wet. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean there's definitely that. The biggest reason he's not potty trained is what you started with, is that you thought he wasn't even ready. So that was number one. I'm telling you guys, like, I know you came here and you're like, Michelle's going to pull back the curtain. She's going to tell me all the tips and tricks. You already know them. You already had some things that were implemented that were working. The only reason that you haven't seen it through is because if I believe that my child's not ready, then how motivated am I going to be to continue this process? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm going to quit because he's not ready. I'm just going to try another time. But if that other time I still haven't cut the belief of like he's still not ready, then I'm going to get the same results. It's like the definition of insanity. Right?
Yeah.
Got it. All right. So one of the things I talked about tonight, and I go deep on this in my program, is that we want the child to have high desire to want to do this. And you gave him rewards for sitting that were cute and all that. You said he didn't have an issue sitting, but he actually does, because I need him to be able to sit 3 to 5 minutes, enough for a pee or poop to happen. So if he's not sitting, then we can't potty train. So you really, even though you can get him to sit, you can't get him to sit long enough for a pee or poop to pass. So that's the first thing. So you're just like the mom prior. We got to get him sitting first, and sitting anytime you ask him, get that time up to 3 to 5 minutes, and then we can potty train him. The second thing here is that the rewards on a scale from 1 to 10, stickers, sensory toys, candies, where would you say that falls on the desire scale for him? I do anything for it, 10, or it's okay, 5.
Pretty good, because he doesn't get those things often.
All right, so where on the
He does like the little sensory toys, things like that, but we have like the little miniature bubbles and things like that.
Yeah, you got a nice allow
him to. Yeah, I will allow him to carry around because there's not that much in them. So if he spills it, it's no big deal. It's easy wrapped up. It's not the big thing of bubbles. So he doesn't get.
Yeah, on a scale from 1 to 10, how desired are those items?
I would say about an 8.
An 8, got it. So what I need to do something really, so I love the idea of maybe using those things to get him to sit, but if I really want him to actually eliminate on the toilet, which is a very different big thing, a sensory experience that's very different than just sitting, I got to have a 10. I got to have something that's over the moon that he would do anything for access to. Otherwise, this isn't going to work. I'll tell that to everybody here. Okay. So when I say it like that, do you think any of those things would work?
Yes, the candy.
You know what I think would definitely work? That would just absolutely, you would potty train in about 2 days or less.
What
he's on right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So now how I put this in perspective, this is why it's like, I can see everything for you guys from the drone view, because I can see it really clear and objective. When you're in the mud, you're thinking like, yeah, I know, like he'd do it for bubbles. He likes them. He'd love to have them. But would I shit or piss on the potty for it? Probably not. I don't know. You know what I mean? We'd have to try it out. But if you're telling me it's an 8 and I've been watching him this whole time on that iPad, boy, I bet he'd do anything for that iPad.
I hadn't thought about that.
I know. right? And the reason why you're not thinking these things is you're not in the identity of being a master problem solver, right? This is what my program is all about. I want to get you in the identity of, I can not just solve for potty training, I can solve for anything that comes up, being this baby's caretaker, being this baby's parent. You see what I'm saying? But I have to get into that identity first. If I'm not in belief of myself to be able to do this for him, I'm never going to see what Michelle sees in just a 5-minute conversation where he happens to be in the background.
Yeah.
You got to be tight. You got to be sharp. These kids, it's psychological warfare, right? These kids are smart.
Yeah.
You give everyone in here who has a child that's not potty trained, you've been giving them a fucking pass for all this time because of the autism. And they're taking the ride. They're like, you want to give me a pass? I'll take it. So now it's like, let the psychological warfare begin. So you need to be sharp. You need to be on your game, and you need to be in the identity of like, this is no longer optional on my own. You have to potty train.
And do you take away the pull-ups altogether?
Yeah.
And just
If I'm
start with
committed, I'm
underwear?
committed. What I teach in my program is we create a blueprint of more of an intensive. First things first, he's got to sit, and he's got to be willing to sit. And you took away the rewards because I think you have this thing about him eating too much candy. Listen, the kid would be happy to have one gummy bear. You know what I mean? You do, like, sitting isn't a big ask because they sit at the table, they sit on their bed, they sit at school. That's not a hard ask. So giving him anything from that box, he'd probably be delighted to sit. Well, that's different. When we're asking him to do something he's never done before, which is eliminating on a toilet, what we would do is we'd put together a protocol for actually getting it done. And we'd be very systematic with it. That's why consistency and commitment are important. Commitment means that that's it. He doesn't like to be dirty, so he's really not going to like it when his undies are wet. I want to create a world where shitting and pissing your pants isn't cool anymore. It doesn't feel good. But doing this in the toilet, not only is it so wonderful, you're going to be rewarded with access to your most favorite thing when you do it, which means that you no longer get access to it at any other time.
Okay.
I'd have to be committed to that. That iPad, when a child loves an electronic device, I get excited because I'm like, boy, that kid's going to potty train fast. Because they're made to be addictive. But don't give your power away to it. You can always also change the rules of engagement at any time. Once potty train's mastered, you can give it back to him, but I wouldn't, because I'm like, this is a tool. I could get him communicating for this. I can get him to try new foods for this. I can get him to stay by my side, not elope for this, right? It's a tool. You're literally giving all your power away when you just give it to him like it's a right instead of a privilege. And that's the thing. Potty training is not just like, it's not just for the few. Everybody in this house has to use the bathroom, including you. And if you do it, you get rewarded. And when you don't, you get nothing but to clean it up with me.
What would you recommend for at night? Do you wake them up in the middle of the night to go potty?
The first thing we focus, and this is what we go over in the masterclass, we want to work on a daytime protocol first. Only time diapers would be allowed in the beginning is during naps, or which he shouldn't be napping. He's 5 now, so just at nighttime. As long as it's swiftly removed as soon as they get up and they go to the bathroom in the morning, first thing. So you got to understand, when you start getting those reps in, nighttime training 80% of the time takes care of itself.
Okay. Because
So
he's in a safety bed, because he will elope. We've got locks on the top, and he'll slide a chair and try to open the door and go out. So he's in a safety bed now. So he's in there until he gets up. So that's one thing that
you have, and this is the thing too,
wetting the bed.
Exactly. We're talking specifically about potty training, but you learn how to teach him to potty train. You take these skills and it carries over to get him to stop eloping, to getting him to stay in his bed. But you have to start somewhere. And I got to start with changing my shitty thoughts about him not being ready, or that autism is making this more difficult, and that because of autism, he doesn't have to follow the house rules.
Okay.
All right. Was this helpful?
Yes. I understand where you're coming from. I see your point of view.
All right, Christine, get cracking. I want to hear that this baby's potty trained. The summer is the perfect time. I say that Christmas is the perfect time. Easter's the perfect. This summer is the perfect time to potty train, because I decide it's the perfect time to potty train, and that's why you're going to get it done too. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. It was a pleasure speaking to you. I'll talk to you soon. All right, next up, rolling through it tonight. I like this. We're getting to coach a lot of people here. Hold on 1 second here. We are going to do Daya next. You want to be coached tonight? Raise your hand. Daya being promoted to panelist. Okay, Courtney Stevens. Sometimes they'll use the potty, sometimes they won't. Like try to get them to use the potty, but they won't. I'm not sure of that question. I think I already answered. Okay, Ariana, my question. My son is dry every morning, but he refuses to sit on the toilet. Do you wait until they're ready? If you wait until they're ready, they will never be ready. That day will never come. You need to incentivize him to want to sit. We cannot potty train until we can get them to sit neutrally. Okay. All righty. Are you ready, Daya?
Yes.
All right. Let's hear about this baby. 12 years old. Yes.
Yes. His name is Jalen. He's 12 years old. Okay. I've been trying to potty train him since he was probably about 9. Okay. He goes to the bathroom now. He can go pee, but he stands up and pee. Okay. He goes to the bathroom. He use it, right? And it's like he plays in it. He go in there and wipe his hand. I guess he think that he has to wash it with tissue, but I'm thinking that I have been a little lenient on him since he been autistic, because I'm thinking that I've been letting him get away with murder. I've been letting him get away with murder, but as soon as I snatched the pull-ups off and put him on drawers, he started getting better and better. Like now he can go to the bathroom, but he sit down and go to the bathroom. He has no communication. He's nonverbal.
Okay.
And he has been in speech classes and stuff like that. So I'm really trying, I just moved down here to Houston. I'm really trying to find a program that can help me understand him better, so I can get him potty trained, because I know I can do it, because I take him to the bathroom like every hour on the hour he pee. But like 2-3 days, last 2-3 days, he ain't been using the bathroom. But today and yesterday, he used the number 2. And then when he go, I come in there, because I try to give him a little space. I come in there, trying to see how he'll do without himself. I come in there, he always got poop everywhere, all over his hand.
Yeah. Yeah, this is amazing. He's already almost there. What do you think is the gating factor to finishing this up?
I'm thinking that he's wiping it with his hand instead of waiting on me to come in there and give him some tissue. So I really need to like learn how to communicate better with him, because I think we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. You're definitely getting somewhere. So the idea here is that he doesn't really know what to do.
Yeah.
Right? He needs a little bit more like tutelage, and he also needs a reason to do it right. So now you got to give him the reason to do it. Now we want to give him a reason to do it right. So right now, if he's going and he's not really getting a reward for it, it's like, all right, well, I'm going because maybe I see the value in not wetting my pants and this being a problem. I don't like to be dirty in my underwear. She took away the pull-ups, and he's trying to do it right. So you just got to see it through with him. And communication, say that you're looking for a program that'll help you to communicate with him. You already are communicating with him, and you're capable of learning this yourself. His communication, all of our communications as a species, is the most rawest, purest, earliest form of communication for all of us is behavior. Communication and being verbal are not the same things, and that's a good thing. Because if I can teach him through behavior therapy what I want, I can also teach him what I don't want. And that's really the missing piece here, is this lack of belief in self, that I already have what I need. I don't need somebody else to teach him. I need somebody else. Maybe I need to be in belief that I could teach him. And somebody just got to give me the heads up as to how to do this in a strategic way, so that we get 100% potty trained with no poop on our hands, and we're doing it correctly. And I can communicate with my son, my pre-verbal son. And that's kind of what my masterclass is all about. We're going to teach you the strategies to do this. Nobody's a better educator for your baby than you. And that's one of the first lessons I learned, is that nobody knew Juliana like I did. When we first started doing a communication protocol, where they started with PECs, and she had a stim where she'd take things and she'd twist them in her hands. And I knew instantly it was going to be a problem. These professionals who've been doing this for years and years and years made that suggestion. And I told them, this is going to be a problem. She's getting too distracted. She keeps stimming on the cards. So then I said, what else can we try? And then that's when we picked sign language. The uneducated, zero experience with autism, zero experience education, made that decision, and it was the right one. And that was with no training, right? So then now I get the training. I learned from like just seeing it in my home. Now I'm able to implement it better than they can, because I know her better than anybody. That's what makes you guys the biggest asset for your children. When Armando talks, I'll ask him, because he didn't even have behavioral therapy back then. It wasn't covered under insurance. His family couldn't afford it. His mother went to the library, she tried a lot of shit, questionable shit. And I said, out of everything she tried, what was it that helped you? And he said, my parents, my family didn't give up on me. Not some therapy, not some magic school, not some special pill. My parents, my family. I don't know where I would be today without them. And that's the truth for us and our children today.
Okay, so I have another question. Like, I need to be more like, you know, able to, well, I got the patient things down pat now because I've been going through it for like 12 years. At first, it was not a patient thing. I got the patient thing down pat now, but
is it a patient thing or a white flag thing? I want you to think about that too, because at the beginning of this conversation, you said, you know, for a while there, I've been giving him a pass.
Yeah, I did. Because I'm thinking like he didn't understand.
Valuable. It's such a crucial part of this, but don't mistake patience for believing it's never going to happen. He's already shown you all the signs.
It can happen. I know it's possible because he's very, very smart. If I
right,
say go cut out that light, Jalen, he'll go cut out that light.
Yeah.
If I say something like bring me that phone, he can bring me that phone. So if I say go to the bathroom, he'll go to the bathroom.
Yep.
And sometimes he'll pee, but most of the time he won't do the number 2. I don't know if he's scared to do number 2 or he just, you know, I'm really just lost on that part, because when he goes now, he wipes it with his hand. He put his hand back there and wipe it.
You gotta understand here. This is an emerging life skill that you and I have been doing since we were 4 years old. He's just learning this. He needs practice.
Yeah.
Reps, and I want to motivate him to want to do it more often and do it correctly. Rewards are big here. At this moment, he may start to make that connection of like, I don't really like being wet, so I'm just going to do it here. But I want to really pair going as like this positive, awesome experience. When I do that, they land these life skills faster. And then also goes for communication. I want him to start functionally communicating with him. I want to create desire on him wanting to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Do you have any other questions?
Okay, like how okay, you said I got my communication with him. I do have my communication with him because I understand everything he's saying. But is there any way that he'll be able to learn how to communicate? Like,
so let me ask you this. So right now you said that he is nonverbal. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Does he make sounds?
He makes a lot of sounds. That's mostly what all he do, make sounds.
Does he ever say words?
No words, except for mama.
Okay. And does he mean, when he says mama, he means you?
I'm thinking he means me, but he says it to everybody.
Okay. All right. So the way I see it is I first step into the identity of this belief. This is what I believe first. If a child can make random sounds, I bet I could teach a child to make intentional sounds. Like instead of wah wah, just being wah wah, maybe I can make him say wah wah and hand him his water. That's my belief, right? See how like mind, you know, your mind is so powerful. This isn't my quote, but I love it. The mind is like a furnace. It can warm your house or burn it down. So if I want to intentionally believe that if he's making random sound, and I know this is for a fact, if he's making random sounds, I bet I could get him to make intentional sound creation. And if he can make sounds, I bet I could make him put 2 sounds together that actually create a word. See how I choose to believe this about your son. So the first thing I would do for him, because he's 12, I would immediately get into an AAC device. And the idea here is that I want him to start using this device to request all of the things that he wants and needs. Now, right now, he's 12 years old. And I'm assuming in the house, there's ways for him to get what he needs without even asking for it. And we all do that, right? Because this is a part of our job as a mom. It's like either we're giving them stuff before they even know they need it because you know them better than they do, right? And that's your job as a mom. I'm putting the food in front of him because I know he's going to be hungry, right? But when I do that, or I create an environment where he can go get his own yogurt, he can go get his own water, it's actually not the best thing because there's no reason for him to want to use his voice.
Okay.
And the way I see a pre-verbal baby like this, if I look at the way the brain operates and I have thought and over here is my voice, the pathway, the neural pathway to getting to connecting the two is dormant. I need to kickstart that. The best way that I've kickstarted that in my program, my daughter, for the hundreds of kids I've worked with, is I create a bridge form of communication. And that's going to be his communication device. So what I would do is I download, I think it's called Soundboard. It's a free app on the iPad. And I'd start loading it with pictures of things I know he asks for, things I know he wants every day. Instead of him being able to go get these things on his own, I'm going to make them visible, but no longer accessible. So he's got to either come to me for help, and when he does, I'm going to direct him to use his iPad. And that's how you start communicating with him first. We do that first, then we can start working on getting sounds. I talked about my mom that's in Pakistan. She was teaching her daughter sign language. She's been at this for a really long time. She's been in the program for, I want to say 3 weeks. And her daughter picked up signs within a couple of days and said car for the first time 2 days ago. And she wasn't even like, I think she was babbling. That's where your son's at. Why couldn't your son talk too? The only way that happened is because we're starting to make the connection for her. When we work programs like potty training and in communication programs like this, we're starting to fire neural pathways in the brain. All of a sudden, the baby starts to like really change right before our eyes. The more we the more we train the brain, the better it operates. And the more we let them run off and stim, the more it's like the disconnect. So that's why I love running program. I don't think of program as like something extra I have to do. I run program with like having her load the dishwasher, unload the dishwasher, helping with her laundry, doing chores. These are ways of running program because he has to concentrate. He's got to be connected to you to get these things done from start to finish. The more I do that, the more I'm exercising that brain. I'm waking up those sleepy neural pathways, and that's how we're going to start to see progress for our babies.
Okay. Okay, so about this master, the mom master thing. So that is just, you just accept cash with that?
We do a credit card. We could probably do, I never did cash. I don't know how we do that. You could probably email me offline and we can figure out a way. So we do credit card. I know people have done PayPal with it. I think their PayPal offers like a 0% for 6 months if you want to do it through there.
You don't accept insurance.
This is the thing. I'll tell you, you guys get real creative when it comes to joining. I've had people have self-direct budgets in their states, and then they're able to use those funds to pay for my program. I've seen that done a couple of times. I've seen health savings accounts, not health insurance, be able to fund it to cover my program. If you believe this is going to help you, you're going to get creative in figuring out how to make it happen. That's how I've seen it 100,000 different ways, including myself. If I was in this situation like I was already moving things around in my mind, figuring out how I was going to come up with the money to find that person that was going to help me. So I want you to think about that too, that you're completely capable of figuring out a way to make this happen.
Okay.
Drop me an email and let me know what you come up with. I'm here for it. Let's go. Let's help this baby.
Okay.
Was this helpful?
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Keep me posted, Daya.
All right.
I'll talk to you soon. All right. We're going to take one more. Let's see here. I will do Samantha Shinko. Promoting you to panelists. Let's keep going. Diana. When do I try to sit my 3.5-year-old on potty train? Should I stand him instead because he's not talking for me to explain how to do it? You're not going to have to talk to him. That's what's so fabulous about this, Diana. What you want to do here is you want to just kind of say, listen, first sit, then candies or bubbles or whatever. And you just don't need him to sit. He doesn't have to sit for a minute in the beginning. Whatever he's willing to sit before he pops back up, that's your baseline. So if it's 5 seconds, that's your starting point. He instantly gets the reward for sitting that first time. Then you're going to say, okay, like he's going to start connecting the behavior. When I do this, I get this. That's why you don't have to talk to potty train. And then we keep increasing that time. So 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. We keep running this program until we get him on there for 3 to 5 minutes, and then we're ready to potty train. And you just taught yourself how to instructionally control your child. I love it. Love potty training. Hi, Samantha. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. So,
yeah,
I mean, I've been listening to even the other moms, and I've learned quite a bit. So
awesome.
I'm excited.
Great. So tell me about your baby.
We have a 6-year-old. His name is Cole. Well, he'll be 6 in September. I keep saying he's 6, but he will be entering kindergarten, and he's in a lot of therapies, but we've just haven't started potty training consistently because he didn't really show interest. Now we've gotten him to be able to wear pull-up or like boxers. He will sit on the potty, and I swear sometimes like he'll sit there for days, I think it feels like, but he just won't go. My concern is that he has a sensitivity to his man parts, and I don't know if he's afraid or what.
Okay, let's talk about some of the times that you've tried. Okay, so so sitting's not an issue. He'll sit 3 to 5 minutes anytime you ask him, no problem.
He'll sit, yep. Of course, we're like telling him that he'll get something if he's sitting. So he's super motivated because he's going to get something.
I love it. Perfect. So he's down for it. So anytime you ask him, he loves it. See how your son's already doing this. I love it. All right. There's nothing wrong with that. I love it. The way you're saying is like, I'm in the shame cage here because I have to bribe him. Yeah. Okay. Why would he want to sit anyway? You know what I mean? He doesn't see the value in it yet, like you and I do. Right. So totally no problem. Exactly the way I'd teach you. All right. So now let's talk about the times that you've had him sit. So you've had him sit, he'll sit for a while, then he'll get up, and then what happens?
So he'll get up, but what we've been doing, which I learned tonight, that we probably just need to concentrate more so on him. We have triplets, boys, and they want to go in with him because now they're motivated. None of them have been diagnosed, so they're super motivated because he is their god. So they want to go in and potty because he goes. So we've gotten them 3 potties, and he sits on our regular toilet, and they'll all sit in there together. They've actually gone on the potty. He's never gone ever.
All right. So listen, let me tell you something. I love this, by the way. I love how motivated these triplets are. It's hysterical. My advice is the same as what I gave you in the Q&A. If I have 4 children, I had triplets in the program too. We didn't train them all at once. We trained them one by one by one. And we start with the child of the 4 of them, even though I'm an autism coach, because one was on the spectrum, one had Down syndrome, and one was neurotypical. We started with the neurotypical one because I want to land you some wins. You're not going to want to do this. You've got one and you're struggling so hard with him, and you got 3 that are like, I'm over here ready to go. That's 3 diapers. You got to think about, I always think about time. If we're thinking about time management, especially for a mom like you, right? We got 3 and we got 1. And the 3 have already peed in the potty. So why not focus on getting them done? So now I'm only changing 1 diaper instead of 3.
Right.
And I know what you're thinking, 6.
My worry has always been to change him, to get him potty trained first, and they would follow and be easier. But I get what you're saying.
It's the other way around. They want to do this. They're showing they're ready. Let's do the triplets first. And I'm not even saying do all 3 at the same time. I would do 1 at a time. And if the other 2 want in on the party, which a lot of the time happens, it's a benefit. This is one of the benefits of being a multiple mom, is that they're going to all want in on the potty. You might potty train the 3 of them in like a week. And then we got all our energy to focus on Cole.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So in the meantime, what I would be doing with Cole is just have him do the reps instead of making Cole the center point, which he's the center. He's their god, and he's your firstborn. Let's one of the strongest things that works so well for Juliana is a proximal praise, and that means that I'm telling Cody what an amazing job he is. He's such a sweetheart. He's doing so good. She's like, what the fuck? I'm the center. All of a sudden, now I'm not the center anymore. Now it's all about. Now I might be more motivated to want to do what they're doing. So by doing this, not only does it make sense from a time management standpoint, I mean, you're changing 4 sets of diapers, you got 3 that are ready to go, and you're focusing on the hardest one. Get the triplets done and let him watch them get rewarded for doing the good deed.
I don't know why I didn't think of that, honestly, because
why do you think you didn't think of it after tonight?
I'm just so I think like most of the moms tonight, like I've just given him a leeway because of autism, and I've just kind of, I'm sorry. I just kind of like, I'm afraid in a way to sort of let go too, because I'm just, I don't know. I've been his everything. Like I've worked my tail off to get him where he is. He was nonverbal and he's speaking now. And I'm just, I don't know.
When you say I'm afraid to let go, what do you mean by that?
Part of me feels like, I don't know, like he's not going to need me. Like I start to feel like some of the things, like I let him slide a lot. I do. I let him slide a lot. Like he'll wear underwear for the whole day. He'll sit on the potty if we ask him to. He'll go in, he'll sit down. He won't go, but he won't either, like he won't make a mess sometimes. But then like at night, I'm just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna put him back in a pull-up. So I know like that's my fault. Like I need to just let that go and just let him make the mess, like you said tonight. But I'm also just worried because I don't know. I don't know. I really don't.
Listen, you brought up something really interesting here. And I always try to, when you guys say things like this, I want to envision my thoughts about Juliana. And God, I've invested so much time into her. I mean, she's my girl. She's, even though our relationship isn't as like lovey-dovey as my son, I just had this conversation with my husband today. I am drawn blood for that girl.
Yeah.
She's made me the animal I am today. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah. And I think, even though she's never vocalized it, like she knows, like we're going to be forever tight because of this journey that we've been on. So your work really is to think about the idea of letting go is actually the ultimate service to him. And that you don't want a situation where it's this unhealthy codependency.
Right.
Your bond will be so tight because of the journey you've already been on with him. And that's never going to change, even if you potty train him and he moves out of the house. And that's
which he is.
Yes, which he is. Because I'm not going to invest in a relationship that's unhealthy. I got to be here for all my boys. When I'm engaging, I want you to think too, like this whole idea of letting go is going to gain you a stronger relationship with your triplets.
Right. Yeah.
Over codepending here is at the sacrifice of them having their mom too.
Right.
Might be one of the reasons why this didn't seem so obvious to you.
Yeah. Because I mean, Cole is a picky eater also, and he's stubborn, so stubborn. And
I love it. What do you think's gonna happen after you potty train? He's just gonna pack his bag and leave? No, we got other shit to work on, obviously. He's not even 6 yet. So that's what I'm saying here. Like, it's just like, you really got to like talk to your brain when it's giving you like this bullshit. Like, oh, he's going to leave and we're never going to be close again. And blah, 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 blah. See how it's like, it's the brain can be super deceptive this way. It keeps you stuck. Having you think this way stops you from moving forward with him. And it's letting you baby him because the brain knows that we can live like this. We can change 4 diapers, no problem. Let's not change anything.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I've done it.
Can be dangerous. That's what the brain thinks. And brain's job isn't to keep you happy or elevate you and your sons. It's to keep you safe. And the way to keep you safe is we can live life like it is now.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he's already come around to like the triplets will eat stuff and something that he's never even thought of touching. Like he just won't touch it. And I'll put it on their plates and he like lurks around and kind of like looks at their plates like, what are you eating? And I've seen him like say to me or to them like, oh, bite? Can I have a bite? And I'm like, well, I look at him like, what the heck are you talking about? Like you've never wanted to touch that in your life. And actually this past Sunday, he had French toast for the first time because it was on their plate. So
wow. I want you to think about it. Instead of like this separate identity, it's me and him, and then there's the triplets. One of the things I always thought with Cody, I was always worried that she was getting so much attention and Cody was going to notice that he wasn't getting any of that. And I remember thinking, like, I was worried about this for a while, and then it hit me. Cody, they're going to be here for Cody too. Which means I'm going to be here for Cody too. So when the therapists come, they don't just work with Juliana, they work with Juliana and Cody. To this day, he's like, Juliana, hurry up, because they're earning pom-poms to keep their room clean. Christine's going to be checking bedrooms in 2 minutes. It's never even occurred to him that I wasn't a part of the plan. And having him a part of it, having this neurotypical sibling has been so valuable to her. And I
Yeah.
want you to look at it that way. These triplets are amazing teachers for your boy. They're already helping him.
Yeah, for sure.
Is this helpful?
It is. Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
All right, so let's get these triplets potty trained. And in the meantime, he's going to see it. I'm curious to see what happens. You can send me an email. You let me know. I want to know what
I will.
happens. Well, I guarantee that's going to be like, just like he wants to eat French toast because they're eating it. Hey, if they're starting to use the potty, maybe I want in on that too, because mom's giving him a lot of attention. We had our thing and now she's over there. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Yes. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Well, keep me posted.
I will.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right. All right, that's it for Potty Power. I hope tonight was helpful. I know we had a couple of questions. Let me see if I can answer any. Cheryl, my 5-year-old daughter pees in the potty, but not poop. Will poop in undies all day long. Not big poop. She'll sit when we make her, but won't go poop. Kindergarten is in 2 months. I can't think of a better time to potty train Cheryl than the summer. We just need to incentivize her to want to go on the toilet. We've got to do an intensive around when she poops. So like, okay, she's peeing in the potty, no problem, but she's still pooping her pants. I love, and this is what I do for my kids and my dogs, is that I love to wait until they're right, like about to do it. And like, that's like when it's like, I'm going to be graphic, but when it's prairie dog in it, right? And it's even almost halfway out and then I run them to the bathroom. So when some poop lands in there, they're going to make the connection because you're instantly going to provide the reward. So the idea here is just to get a lot of reps of that. So that means that we're going to be committed during certain times of day when we're using our toilet training data sheet to make sure that we're doing whatever we got to do to catch the poop and give her the reward for it. And sometimes I have to come up with a different reward for poop because it's normal that to get pee first and not poop. You get a lot more reps of pee. So if poop is a different sensory experience and we're not getting as much, much times to try it, we want to maybe incentivize it even more so when it happens. Okay, so I hope this is helpful. Listen, you have until midnight tonight. If you want this crazy in your life for the next 5 months, this is the perfect time to potty train. You join me. We will get this baby potty trained by the time they start school. Let's do it. There's no excuse. 100% success rate for potty training if you join the masterclass. Then we can work on communication. Then we can work on picky eating. You name it, we got it covered. Join by midnight tonight. You get those